Years ago, I watched my mother lose her job after developing carpal tunnel from repetitive data entry work. She had surgery and she was later let go, and that moment really stuck with me. I remember thinking that there has to be a better way. That's what inspired me to create Connex e-commerce, a tool that automates e-commerce accounting and operations so business owners can spend less time fixing spreadsheets and more time growing their companies. As we start 2026, many of us are taking stock of what worked, what didn't, and how we can build stronger systems for the year ahead. And that's exactly what today's episode is about. I'm thrilled to be joined by Carlos Maiguel, co founder of Corello.ai. Carlos is a technology entrepreneur and AI strategist who helps small and mid sized manufacturers create practical, results driven AI solutions. Carlos is known for helping companies find quick wins, like using AI to track inventory, streamline operations, and make smarter go to market decisions, while also building a foundation for long term growth. With 2026 just around the corner, this is the perfect time to talk about how AI can help you simplify your systems, empower your team, and start the new year with clarity and momentum. In today's episode, we'll cover how small manufacturers can use AI for quick, high impact wins, how to use AI to improve forecasting and inventory control, how AI can make your go to market strategy smarter and more personalized, and how businesses can use AI to empower their employees, not replace them. If you're looking to make 2026 the year your business runs smarter, this conversation is filled with insights you can act on right away. Carlos, what drew you to working with small manufacturers and helping them implement AI in practical ways?
Yes, Joe. So, first of all, thanks for having me today. Really excited about this conversation. So, in the past 5 years, I've been doing growth and innovation consulting for small, medium sized manufacturing companies. Companies that are between the $2 million and all the way to $50 million in revenue per year. And all of these companies and all these companies and all these places that I've visited, they all have same problems. The tribal knowledge is trapped in scattered data all over the place and in people's heads also. So doing this work, I was thinking like, hey, what if we could empower these types of companies because the solutions that they are getting from other vendors or other technology, it's not serving their purpose because it's a really specific niche. So we started thinking, how can we empower these companies? How can we allow them to use the secret sauce of their operations, of what they really know how to do, to start actually acting and having some eyes in their actual operations. So that's how we started deploying AI coworkers for small, medium-sized manufacturers in using Corello as the base technology. And we are really interested in allowing these companies to have quick wins, starting from building quotations on the fly, starting to understanding work instructions. So that's how we started. I believe we, as a team, we are really passionate about helping small, medium-sized business because we think they are an underserved market right now. The sense that huge solutions that are good for big companies or corporations are not even built for these types of businesses. So that's why we are focusing on this.
And you have a document management software that allows companies to share information more effectively across different teams. Even at Connex, our staff works remotely, and sometimes you have silos. You have marketing on one side, sales doing something else, and you guys help keep everything together so everyone's aligned. So you help companies align the departments.
Yes, definitely. We're trying to break those silos because these companies in specific, they have everything, lots of data, but it's in different silos. So they have a QuickBooks account, they have a CRM system, a broken ERP system, Excel files, paper. And what we are doing is that in Corel, we're building what we call the single source of truth for manufacturers.
What about a product like a SharePoint or a like a Dropbox? How are you different than that? I mean, can't you go into a Dropbox and get all your files in one place? What's your differentiator?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joe. So we believe in the concept that we are not a system of record, but a system of intelligence. So we are also building what we call the semantic layer, which is basically contextualizing the data of the company in the meaning and in the sense of each of the people in the company, and also in the company itself. So let me explain myself. If they
Mhm.
have file in shared drive or in SharePoint, and the finance manager wants to understand that file, it's totally different the questions that he's going to ask than the questions that the CEO is going to ask because they have, although they work for the same company, they have different backgrounds and different knowledge. So we are building AI coworkers that can actually interact with the context of each one of the persons in the company, not being, we are not collecting this data as system of records, but we are allowing them to interact with the different data across the company.
Yeah, that's definitely a key differentiator between like a Dropbox or a OneDrive compared to your tool. You allow people to interact with one another. So, my second question is, as we close out the year, what are a few quick wins manufacturers can achieve with AI to set themselves up for success in 2026?
Yes, so I think that one with the early adopters and first clients, paying customers that we have right now, we are always discussing about this. We like to start from the quick wins and the low hanging fruits for these companies, and then we like to start building from there. So, as an example, with one of the customers that I was visiting in the past week, they believe that their main quick win is to start forecasting revenue for 2026. The other one that I'm working with, and it's really exciting, is they are starting to build the work instructions, understanding the processes that happened this year. And with that, they are informing the future work instructions, making that onboarding is faster and easier for the people that are going to join in 2026. And those are really specific ones. But in general, is how can we use these types of technologies to increase revenue, increase margin, and be more effective in the day-to-day work life of the people working for these companies.
And you have mentioned the forecasting of revenue and forecasting of sales. How about, often at the end of the year, there's also stock taking, like literally and figuratively. How can AI help companies track inventory and forecast demand more accurately?
Yeah, so we also interact with that. We're not trying to replace ERP systems, but we definitely talk to the data of broken ERP systems. So most of these companies, they have a huge ERP, but they only use like a small percentage of the actual solution. So what we are
Mhm.
doing is that with the information that we capture from the ERP system, the information that we capture from the QuickBooks account, the information we capture from the for the different silos, all of that is contextualized in relationship with the company, and with the tribal knowledge that's captured from data from the past, these companies are able, and with our technology, these companies are able to be more accurate in the future in forecasting. And this is not only revenue, but it's also stock, it's also inventory, it's also sending PO orders more accurately. So that's what we are trying to do: contextualize the decision making, understanding the tribal knowledge and all the data that supports that.
And speaking of the understanding the tribal knowledge, what are some ways that AI can help simplify the day-to-day operations, such as eliminating tribal knowledge for small teams who wear a lot of hats?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question, Joe. So these companies, they have lots of experienced people that have worked for them for many, many years. And when we started Corello, we were thinking, hey, what if we can make that 10-year experience floor manager share that tribal knowledge with everyone? Because when that person is going to retire, well, the knowledge goes out the door with him. And what we're trying to do here is that we want to capture the tribal knowledge that's laying out there in his head, but also in his email, in the different spreadsheets, and capturing that in a system that is going to be able to talk to everyone across the organization. So we believe of this not as another 1099 a month, but more as an actual AI coworker that can help the company not only in a small automation, but across the whole organization in multiple tasks with different people involved in it.
Good to know. And with your tool, is there like a workflow management? I mean, let's say somebody uploads a document, can you like approve the changes with your
Yes.
product? Yes.
Yes, we are not thinking about this as a system of record, but it's more like a collaborative, what we call collaborative intelligence, in which we are not trying to substitute people, but the human and the AI should always be in the loop to collaborate together. So answer is yes, but it's more a collaborative, um, let's call it platform or environment in which they can interact with the data they have.
So I'll give you an example. Let's say I was making for my company a script for how to run a podcast. Let's say I want one of my coworkers to start asking the questions for the podcast. So I come up with a series of instructions. How would AI help me with this? Would it help me write it? I gave it some bullet points.
I think these types of these type of technologies really it will be really good to help you spark your mind. This type of technology will be really it's really good to help you brainstorm or get together the different ideas that people have. And in this case, in specific, what you're talking about, it could be you are the one who is orchestrating the AI to give you that script. But at the end, you as a human, Joe, and as a person who knows about this stuff, you are really adding the value to the outcome that the AI is going to give you. Because, well, this technology, data is the new currency, and the amount of data, of good data that you input to the AI, that's the good output that you're going to get.
And you often talk about using AI to segment clients. Glad we're on the topic of AI again, based on pain points instead of demographics. How does that change how companies market and sell?
Yeah, so we as a company, we've been experimenting with the concept of go-to-market engineering, and we believe that this is a shift in the market in the sense that, well, maybe before in the past we were really like focusing on the demographics as you are saying. So where is my lead gonna be located, geography, age, blah blah blah. And now we are trying to segment our market into the pains. So it's more a pain driven target selection than more related to a target related to demographics itself. So now we are able to understand the pain that we are solving, and we are able to go more directly in a message that will resonate more with our future customer. So this type of technology also helps small, medium-sized companies to start building a small architecture that will help them write a more concise cold email campaign, be able to segment their leads in a better way based on the pains that they already know. So this type of technology is really good at doing that.
And speaking of AI writing content, how can AI insights guide a smarter go to market strategy, especially for manufacturers entering new markets in this time of the year?
So that's a good question. So some of these companies or the clients that we are working with, all of them, they already have more or less an idea of how they want to enter into new markets, or what we call adjacencies, which are similar markets with some different applications, slightly different applications. And as I was saying, this technology is helping them to craft a better message to put out there. So this technology is able to understand how to serve a new market by also understanding the capabilities that those companies have. So, for instance, what this technology is doing is that it's helping those sales managers or technical sales to go out there and find more clients that are slightly more aligned with what they are doing, but in a new market.
And so, how do you find clients in a new market using your product? How do you, with the tribal knowledge, what's the connection?
Yes, and that's something that we are doing. So as I said previously, with Corello, we are able to connect to CRM systems. So I'll give you an example, real one. We went to a client and they wanted to talk to a prime manufacturer, and they recently changed the previous sales manager. And they were looking at the CRM, but they didn't have a clue because it wasn't structured data. So what we did is that we connected Corello with the previous CRM system, and by asking questions in plain English language, they were able to understand that they already have a contact inside that company and no one was talking to that lead, although they already did business with them. But again, as the previous sales manager left the company, no one knew that that was something. So with Corello, we were able to recover this information and bring it to inform the present. And also, this technology was able to tell the new sales manager what specific thing they sold to that company, and what specific application are they using for the thing that they sold to them. Then this sales manager was able to craft a completely direct email to the person that managed the purchase department in that company.
With your software, if I had a bunch of spreadsheets of leads and who talked to them, I could use AI to ask it a question: who talked to John Example at ABC Battery Company? And I'd find out that no one has talked to him. Your software allows you to AI to query a data set and come to a conclusion. Is that what you do with all the data in your software?
Yes, I wouldn't say a conclusion itself, but it understands unstructured data and give you a structured answer in context of your company and in context of your role. The conclusion will be, let's call it the task of the person who asks the question. But yeah, we are able to do that not only with Excel files, but also paper, because some of these companies are paper based still. And we can do that not only with that type of information, but also paper travelers or work instructions. The system is able to read this and give you the output in context of your role and the company itself. So yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's like ChatGPT, except it's connected to your documents, your internal knowledge base. That's kind of the idea.
And it has which is our main differentiator, is the semantic layer that defines the context of each one of the people interacting with the system. But at the same time, the context that we are taking out of the tribal knowledge, that's going to contextualize the whole thing. Because as you're saying, anyone can go out and connect their data sources to ChatGPT, Claude, and whatever you name it. And that's not that hard. But then again, trash in, trash out, right? So what we are doing is, well, building that semantic layer of contextual knowledge for each one of the persons and for each one of the companies. And then the other thing we've invested a lot in the, of course, security of these data and that stuff. So because these companies and our clients, they have really important and high level, let's call it security levels. So we are also aware of that. And these quote unquote free LLMs that are out there, well, it's just like throwing the data outside and then, well, it's not good.
I understand. And speaking of all this AI and using it to query documents, can you share a real world example of a small manufacturer that used AI to improve efficiency or profits?
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, I'm not going to name the company, but it's a small metal finishing company in another state actually. They are using these types of, well, they are using Corello itself to talk to the work instructions. So they have a thing called paper travelers, and it's basically describing the process that each part they produce needs to through. Starting from, I don't know, painting, masking, coating, blah blah blah, all the way to packaging and shipping. So what they are doing is that they are going all the way back to the processes that they did last year, and they're standing where were the quality defects that these parts and pieces had. And now what they're doing is coming back to their floor to solve the different bottlenecks and problems that they had in the past, so that this is not going to happen next year and in the future. So that's specifically how they are doing, and they are increasing margins, and also they are decreasing the costs by understanding where the bottlenecks were.
And speaking of bottlenecks, what are the common mistakes companies make when they first try to implement the AI to reduce these bottlenecks, and how do they avoid them, Carlos?
Well, I think that they start implementing this type of technology without having an actual roadmap. So they start by trying to solve everything, and we do it the other way around. And I think we are having success with that, because it's like we're gonna start with something laser focused, and then we want to start building from that specific need across the whole company. I think that some people start implementing that the other way around, in the sense of they just throw out technology thinking of an ROI instead of an actual structured strategy of how to go step by step, little by little in implementing this. Also, Joe, to your question, I think that the other thing that some of these companies fail by implementing these technologies is that they don't involve the leadership team. And then they are just like trying to buy an ROI again. And only one person knows why they are doing this. So I think bringing all the company, all the people to understand this technology is really important, because we do truly believe in the empowerment of the workforce. And then when someone is just throwing this because they don't have a reason, an actual reason, and people are not getting the whole idea of why this, then that's one of the main causes that we're seeing that this is failing.
And finally, as we're heading into 2026, what data should business leaders focus on to track and grow their decision making?
That's a good one. I think there's not. I believe it depends on the different businesses, but with these type of technology, the cool thing is that of course, you can have a structured data in the different silos, but you can have unstructured data from multiple parts. So ERP system, another part from floor data, another part for finance. And what this is going to do is it's going to contextualize everything. And then with that, you can ask questions to react to. So we really think about this that this is giving eyes so that you can act and react on any data you have.
And Carlos, I want to give you a big thank you today for telling me more about Corello.ai. I found it really interesting how users can put documents inside of your software and they can use AI to ask it questions and pull out reports. I also enjoyed hearing about how companies can optimize their business using AI and prevent those silos and the tribal knowledge. If you're a small manufacturer or business owner and you're looking to harness AI to work smarter and not harder, connect with Carlos on LinkedIn or check out Corello.ai. And as you plan for 2026, remember that automation just doesn't save time. It gives you the space to focus on what really matters: strategy, growth, and innovation. To start automating your e-commerce accounting and operations, visit connexecommerce.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow business owner who's ready to make 2026 the most productive year yet.